Hey, Peter Thiel. I just got off the phone with SVB. They say everything's fine, man. There's nothing to worry about.
If you hear those words, you need to think fraud. You need to run away.
What? Nah, man. They said everything's copacetic. They literally said that. The bonds are good. They're worth a lot.
Overrated.
Really? You're talking about the value of their long-term bonds?
Really overrated.
Dang. Peter Thiel, based on this, I'm gonna pull all my money out of Silicon Valley Bank.
Good.
Okay, love you, bye.
Peter Thiel is an American entrepreneur. He's being blamed for the run on Silicon Valley Bank. He's known as the Don of the PayPal Mafia. He's a big cheese. And today he runs the Founders Fund. Founders Fund is a venture capital fund, and they're well known for their lucrative bets. The fund has a lot of pull, and the people in the VC startup type crowd look to Peter Thiel like VC Jesus. That's where the problem lay for SVB, is when SVB started to show signs of weakness, money started to move. Founders Fund, for example, pulled all their cash out and told investors to stop sending money to their SVB account and told their startups to pull their money. Of course, word spread, others picked up on it, and all of a sudden, the free thinkers on Twitter were panicking to get their money out. This led to depositors trying to pull over $40 billion out of the bank in just 24 hours. Now that's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage!
But what were the signs of the weakness? What did VC risk managers see that the rest of us didn't? Well, while the world was watching this,
being the banker to these immense pools of capital has always been a very good business. Stock's still cheap.
the VC funds were looking at this. SVB had been looking to raise over $2 billion in capital the week of the collapse, and they seemed desperate. VC funds took that as a sign to back away and started telling their startups to pull cash from the bank, just in case. Just a few days later, the bank failed. The interesting thing about SVB was that they didn't take some crazy risky bets. They were buying some of the safest investments out there, long-term bonds. So with a safe investment vehicle, what went wrong? A dumb driver. SVB locked in almost $100 billion in 10-year bonds in a near zero interest rate environment, which have since gone up to around 5%. Interest rates and bond values are inversely related, so the bond values fell almost immediately. It couldn't have been worse timing, but they literally had so much money, they couldn't figure out what to do with it. Now, I'm no expert or genius or even mentally present most of the time, but even I can't figure out why these buffoons thought this would be a good idea. Locking in so much money for so long is betting that interest rates won't go up or go up much in the next 10 years. How could rates not go up when we're in the highest inflation environment we've had since the 80s? In terms of bond values, they literally dumped all their money in at the top. Buy high, sell low, lives on. They should have listened to more knowledgeable sources. Well, the big dogs have been watching this for a while, and then the final bell. Yeah, that's the final bell. When SVB was desperately trying to raise capital, those who saw it coming took out their cash, like Founders Fund and many other VC funds. I think the big dogs were genuinely surprised that SVB had failed though. Peter Thiel is getting a lot of heat for this, but though his fund and startups pulled their money out, he still left $50 million of his own money in the bank. He even said he didn't actually expect it to go under. We could believe that, or for him, maybe it was never about the money. It was about sending a message. As much as I'd love to believe a theory that Peter had bought a metric ton of SVB puts before masterminding a run, it seems like it was just simple risk avoidance. The companies and VC funds need to keep capital safe, and SVB was just looking weak and desperate.